I've had a weird couple of weeks. I recently had to deliver my grandfather's eulogy rebuttal. So this is a layup compared to that. I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. When I was a little kid, my neighbor and I designed and built our own parachutes. And in order to test them, we jumped off the roof of my house. I broke my leg. My neighbor broke both of his, proving mine to be the superior design. I believe on the strength of my parachute experiment, one summer, my parents sent me to science camp. It's about as fun as it sounds. It's science camp, so you're not allowed to believe in things like ghosts. We told low probability event stories around the campfire. Growing up, we had a panic room in our house. It was whichever room my mother was in. I don't think I did very much to ease my poor mother's anxieties. One morning, in an effort to get out of going to school, I pretended to be possessed by the devil. She was trying to get me dressed. I was screaming at her in Latin. It didn't take her long to figure out that the real devil probably wouldn't just keep yelling "E pluribus unum" over and over again. That was not easy to deal with. For most of my childhood, I thought my parents were actually trying to get me kidnapped. Our stranger safe word was candy. That's better. I was born by a cesarean section, which I realized one day means that if I should ever get the death penalty, I will have come into and gone out of this life by appointment. I've heard it said that both the happiest and saddest day in a man's life is the first time he beats his father at something. And when I was 16, for the first time, I beat my father at golf. And we were walking off the 18th green, and we got hit with this weird feeling, like he was looking at me with pride, like I was becoming a man. But at the same time, he was feeling an eerie sense of his own mortality. And I got hit with the really normal but awful guilt for having cheated. We were idiotically competitive, my father and I. When I was a little kid, he would try to one-up me at things. And now he's an old man, and I'm still trying to one-up him. It hit its crescendo about a year ago when I had a vacation coming, and I decided to go to Vietnam, just so he can't throw that in my face anymore. Technically, he still, he killed more people. He was a medic. He didn't know what he was doing. He was also, he was terrible at explaining things to children. I don't know if anyone had a father like that. It was almost like he had never been one. When I was a little kid, I was terrified of the dark. And one day, my father had enough of it. And he sat me down and he explained that there's no reason to be afraid of the dark. Because in the dark, you can't see who's there. But, and he leaned in for this bit of wisdom, he said, whoever's there can't see you. Yeah, because the level playing field is what upsets a child about the dark. I wish I could have responded to my father at 7 years old in the same tone that he was talking to me, like, Dad, I've been looking at the dark the wrong way. What I've been experiencing as a primal fear is actually an opportunity for a battle of wits around my bedroom against the boogeyman who you seem to be suggesting very well might be there. But he's dealing with the same set of disadvantages as I am. I complain about my upbringing a lot, but I try my best to acknowledge my privilege, as people like me are encouraged to do. And I try, but it isn't always easy if you examine some of the details of my life. You know how people from certain disadvantaged groups will sometimes say things like, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. Well, I'm the first person in my family who doesn't believe in Bigfoot. And I assure you, that is deeper than race or gender or sexual identity, whatever it is, and rightly so. Cryptozoology is a special category of stupidity. It's not like UFOs or God. Those are in some ways unfalsifiable. It's a different kind of belief than believing that a monster lives in a lock even after we check the lock. That's a different way of thinking. Those are entirely different beliefs. Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, the Florida Skunk Ape, that's one of them. The Florida Skunk Ape, who, by the way, is also known as Swamp Cabbage Man. I mean, this stuff is obviously just what happens when you teach idiots words. The average moron knows over 10,000 words. You allow enough time to pass, one of them's gonna blurt out Swamp Cabbage Man eventually. They'll get around to all of it. You really can. You can get humans to believe practically anything. I had a great aunt and a great uncle, and they were married for 70 years. And when she died, he ended up dying very soon after. And his cause of death, according to everyone in my family, a few of whom are doctors, was that without her, he just didn't want to go on living anymore. Funerals aren't the best place to start poking holes in people's coping strategies. I appreciate this. But no one in my family would even entertain the possibility that coincidence was involved here. These people were in their 90s. I don't want to cast a shadow on anybody's notion of the power of true love, but the fact is, you could pull random 90-year-olds off the street and pair them up. Before long, two would die within a couple months of each other. It's just probability after a certain age. It was a far greater statistical oddity that they both made it to 95 than it was that neither made it to 96.